Penguin Random House Audio presents The Queen's Fortune, a novel of Desiree, Napoleon, and the Dynasty that outlasted the Empire, by Allison Pataki, read for you by Justine Eyre. Prologue. Stockholm, Sweden, December 1860. When the snow falls at midnight, blanketing the empty cobbled streets, sugaring the Gothic bell tower of Stora Kyrkan Cathedral, it becomes easy to imagine. For me, a girl from the south, where the breeze carried with it the warm seaside brine and the faint scent of the hillside lemon groves, the sudden appearance of these white flecks never fails to dazzle and disorient. Karing, karing, they all say. Karing, karing. Round and round. It's one of the only phrases I've bothered to learn in Swedish. Karing, karing. Round and round she goes, our mad old queen, riding through the snow in the midnight streets, imagining herself back in Paris. I smiled to myself, burrowing deeper into the plush seat of the enclosed coach, nuzzling my cheek against the silver fox-fur of my cloak. How mistaken they are. I don't ride through the darkness of Stockholm, dazed by the snow, to imagine myself back in Paris. I don't ride through the wintry night to imagine him, or his empire, or the gold-emblazoned eagles, or the brazen spire of Notre Dame, rising up from beside the Seine, a man-made finger of stone, defiant, poking the eyes of God. No, no. Karing, karing. Round and round I ride to see her once more. The girl whose name meant desire. The girl from that other life, across the frozen sea and the war-scarred continent. Desiree. Before they renamed me, their queen, their Swedish mother, their Desideria. I suppose he does appear in these midnight musings. I suppose they all do, but only as he relates to her, the girl he loved, the girl who brought the young, rough Corsican soldier to his knees. The girl he might have chosen. Could I have sated his hunger rather than fueled it? Could I have prevented it all, thwarted the insatiable beast that would consume everything in its wake, his crown, his empire, his continent, his very life? At night, encased in my snow-covered royal carriage, I think of her, the girl who might have saved him, saved us all. Karing, karing. Round and round they go, these thoughts, these memories, these spectral phantoms who won and destroyed whole empires. A swirl of silk, steps gliding across the parquet of the dance floor, dark and determined eyes, strong arms, the shifting colours of the officer's uniform, crowns laid in place amid pomp and ceremony, only to be yanked off just as unceremoniously. Laughter hers, his as well. Shouting and champagne toasts and song, always so many words. They've all fallen away, both the words and their speakers, and yet here I am. Only I remain. They'll say what they will about me, their beautiful queen, their cunning queen, their kind queen, their mad old queen. I'll let them. They'll put these words on me and they'll take others off. So many different cloaks and crowns and names have I worn, but not one of them can deny what I've known all along. I've known not only how to rule men and kingdoms, any ambitious schemer with an army can manage that, but me, I know something more. I know how to survive. Even now, even when I sense that each misting of foggy breath might be my last, I know that I have one last chance to surprise them all. And so I shall, and it all starts with the fierce heart of a young girl whose name meant desire. Part 1. Chapter 1. The Convent of Notre Dame, Southern France, summer 1789. Something was very wrong. I could see it that morning in their pinched faces, the way the nuns flew up the corridor, their heels clipping angrily against the cold ancient stones of the abbey, whispers skittering to and fro, hesitant and erratic, like the fragile flicker of the candlelight, that just barely illuminated their hurried steps. My stomach growled, and I pressed my fist into my gut, willing my thoughts away from the hunger. "We haven't had a harvest this poor in decades," the nuns kept telling us all summer long, equal parts resignation and censure, as if we'd somehow brought it on ourselves. "God is testing our faith." God's test lasted for weeks, then months. Months that, to a hungry girl of 11 years, stretched out with the vastness of eternity. "We must pray for the poor souls who are suffering. We pray for the poor, for the hungry," the nuns told us each night at Vespers, and then again at the morning lauds. "The hungry," I wanted to rail back at them. "Am I not starving?" But I knew better, of course, than to answer the sisters with anything more than a doleful nod, eyes lowered piously to the floor. I didn't need my backside to ache along with my empty belly. In the convent, the only place where we got enough food was the sick ward. It was something we all knew as fact. When my sister Julie fell sick last winter, laid up on a pristine cot, tucked in between crisp white sheets, I'd practically skipped through the halls to the nursing ward. I'd forced myself on her, pressing my lips to hers. "Like a stag in rutting season," she'd gasped, her eyes wide with shocked and offended modesty, as she chided me with one of Maman's well-worn scowls. It had worked. I'd gotten myself gloriously sick, far sicker than Julie even. It had been 2 weeks of gluttonous eating, weeks of luxuriating in my warm cot, dozing even, as I heard the bells chime for matins, and the other girls, exhausted, stomachs empty and groaning for bread, shuffling down the dark halls to the freezing chapel for the pre-dawn services. I'd stretched that illness for days, even after my throat had healed and my lungs had cleared. Not only had I lied, but I had lied in order to commit the dual sins of gluttony and sloth. I'd relished every minute of it. But that morning, the morning when I was certain I was in trouble, it was not because I had feigned sickness. It was not because I had lied to get more food or sleep. No, that morning I had sinned far worse. "Thou shalt not steal." I knew the commandment, and yet I'd stolen. Perhaps not stolen, hidden. Sister Marie Benedictine had been struggling across the yard during our morning recess, when her wheelbarrow had toppled over, her dazzling supply of plump melons rolling across the small patch of parched yellow grass. She'd enlisted us to help retrieve her bounty, but I'd stepped in front of one and kicked it quickly into a bush and out of sight. I'd just been so famished, and that melon had appeared so ripe and juicy, and so near. I'd felt a momentary pang of guilt, for Sister Marie Benedictine was one of the kind ones, but my hunger pangs had quickly quashed that lesser discomfort. After Sister left, limping her cart across the remainder of the yard toward the kitchen, I'd enlisted Julie to help me move the melon farther from sight, tucking it away in the back of the yard, our own treasure. But someone must have seen. Someone had snitched, and now Mère Supérieure knew. I was certain of it. "Does it hurt?" I asked my sister as we shuffled down the long, dim hallway that led to our dormitory. "What?" Julie asked. "You know," I whispered. Julie shrugged. "The beating," I groaned, my voice betraying my panic. "How would I know?" Julie frowned. Of course she would not know. She'd never committed a transgression like this. Or perhaps more accurately, she'd never been caught committing a transgression like this. She was far too cautious, her judgment far too sound. I had always been the reckless one. "I just know they found it." I gnawed a piece of skin off my finger, the tinny taste of blood seeping into my mouth. "Stop chewing your fingers," Julie scolded. 6 years stretched between us, half my lifetime. Usually she was more a mother than a sister. "Why else would they have disrupted our lessons and ordered us back to the dormitory?" I asked, certain of our fate, my hand falling limply to my side. "Ah, the Clary girls. There you are. Julie, Desiree." Mère Marie-Claude raced toward us down the corridor, a flurry of white, her wimple fluttering around her face with each hasty step. Horror of all horrors! Mère Supérieure, Mother Superior herself, here to administer our punishment.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?